Welcome again. Welcome to this edition of Strong Perspectives podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Keith Armstrong. I'm here with my brother, Taquari Armstrong. Damon Armstrong, our other host, he's a bit under the weather, so he won't be joining us today. Right now, we are privileged to have a special guest, our first woman, our first queen, Miss Rochelle Turner. How you doing, Rochelle? How are you?
I'm well. How's everybody?
Pretty good.
Can't complain.
Pretty good.
Hopefully, we will be able to do something about the echo. Jaquari, how are you today?
I'm good. Not everybody knows that I'm recovering right now. I caught the dreaded virus of the day, but I'm good. I'm excited because as you said before, Rochelle's here. It's been a long time since I've seen her. It's part of my Philly family.
Yes.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good show.
Okay.
Really, really good show.
Shell, I cut you off earlier, but how was your day today?
Everything's good.
Okay. Just to let everybody know, we're here every Friday at 7:30 here and there. Some days we'll go on a Saturday, but as I said earlier, it's a special occasion for us because we've been trying to with friends and family, women, our family. We wanted them to come on and hey, Lisa, how you doing? Lisa Logan in the house.
Lisa,
So
how you doing?
That's a fantastic story. On both sides of my family, my in-laws and my family. So we want to hear your story. So Kelly, you and I go way back. I think we might have met in 87 or 88.
Maybe before, 87.
Yeah, because I've been around your family for a long time. I've seen all the children grow up.
You sure have.
Niecy Washington in the house.
Got mommy.
87.
Hey, Lisa, our voices are echoing. We're trying to fix that problem. I think it might be on my end, but I'm still working on it. So, guys, please bear with us. But we're working on it. Basically, what I want to ask you, Sal, is what is your goal for this episode, if anything? Maybe you just want to come on and just be seen. You know what I mean?
That's not me.
To show everybody your glow.
I fly under the radar.
I got you.
But if I could just get maybe from telling my story, just one young lady out there to take something from it.
Okay.
That would be wonderful.
Okay.
Yep.
So what we'll do is just give us a basic background, where you're from, everything like that, anything you want to share with us.
Well, like you said, we go way back. Married my cousin, quote unquote, sister. Way back in what year was that? Because Jevon was born in 86, so maybe a few years.
Well, you know what? Maybe we met late 86 then, because I remember when you were carrying Jevon.
Oh yeah, she ran off to college when I,
Yeah.
got the news. So Shelley Turner from Philadelphia, born and raised in Germantown. What else can I tell you? When Keith, you asked me to be a guest on your podcast, the first thing you said to me, which was, really profound. You said, I always looked at you as a strong woman, right? And so when you said that, it kind of resonated with me. You know, I'm strong, but not by design. You know what I mean?
Can't hear you, brother.
Can you hear me now?
There you go.
All right,
Yes.
you said something about being strong, but not by design.
Not by
Elaborate
design.
for us, please.
So it struck a chord because for me, I lost my mom at 18. Okay. So that's like a prime time in a young woman's life where she really needs guidance from her mother. And so being that, I guess I didn't have that. And we kind of like two boys, one girl, all teenagers had to kind of figure things out. So for me, it was feeling like I had to be strong because I didn't have any other choice but to be.
Okay.
Now, in the line of succession of your siblings or whatever, I mean, are you the oldest? Are you the youngest?
So
Where
I'm
you
the
fall?
middle child. We're all 3 years
Okay.
apart.
And being the only girl, I mean, did
Didn't mean a
it at some
thing.
point? It didn't
No.
yeah.
No, not one bit.
So you didn't like naturally become like the de facto mother, like taking care of,
No,
huh? Nothing.
not at
Really?
all. That middle child was the glue. She had to keep everybody in check.
That's what I meant.
Oh, okay. Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's I mean, that situation is like, it's very unique to me. I mean, you hear about situations where people lose their parents at a very young age or whatever, but I've very rarely met somebody who didn't have either parent at 18 years old. My wife, she was in a position where her father, she went to college in a freshman year of college, and that very same year he contracted a stomach cancer, and he passed from that, and her mother wasn't in her life at the time. So, she went down to North Carolina, North Carolina State, and she was pretty much on her own. So she had to figure it all out on her own. So you're similar. Your situations are similar.
Yeah, definitely can relate to that.
Oh yeah. Aaron, your brother Aaron is on. He said, "Well,
Hey, bro.
As my brother too. You on mute, Keith. You muted yourself, Keith.
We got Uncle Aaron on the line.
I got you, man. As long as I don't disappear, I'm good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's a very interesting statement that you made. Not to cut you off. I'm sorry, Keith, but it's a very interesting statement that you made. You said that you're a strong woman, but not by design. Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
So what I mean by that is losing my mom at 18. My dad, he was married off with another family. We still have our grandparents, but we were left in a house in which my mother passed away in. So we pretty much had to stay, take care of ourselves. And that's a situation where, no one ever thinks they're going to lose their mother, right? A parent.
Right.
So she passed away unexpectedly. So it's not by design. I had to be strong. I had to take on what my mother would have done for my two brothers.
So do you feel like she prepared you for that in a sense, even though you were at a young age? I mean, did she like give you lessons or say things to you that she knew would carry on into your adulthood? But considering her premature passing and everything, you had to start living those lessons early.
Oh yeah, watching her, learning by watching her, it helped. She helped. Yeah. But still, it's so much more that a young woman needs after 18. So,
Right.
yeah.
all right. So, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
All right, now, Jaquari, every time
Uh-huh.
I go to mute, you don't have to keep telling me because I understand that I am. You know what I'm saying? See, this is what I'm talking about. This how you have to talk to your little brothers, Shelly.
Yeah. Well, Keith, if the apparatus that I'm using right now actually belong to you, then hey, I'll be on board. Even though we are like 300 miles away, you say, all right, you set these rules for me, but I'm on
Yes.
his laptop. I'm on my laptop, and I do what I want.
I'm the big brother.
I don't care.
They
I don't
going
care.
at
What
it.
are you gonna do? You 300 miles away.
Hey, but
I
in
can,
all seriousness, Shelly, because you were probably one of the main people that I wanted to get on because, like I said, I've been around your family for a long time, and what I did is I admired your strength. You know,
Thank you.
that middle child was leaking out you a little bit, but still, you were a strong woman, especially when it came to your son, because Jevon is a he was a great kid. He's a great man right now. And I think a lot of that has to do with you. And and his dad was in his life too. Um,
Absolutely.
so that you guys did a fantastic job. I just wanted to give you and June your flowers for that.
Thank you.
You know what I
Thank you
mean?
so much.
And so the question I wanted to ask was, what part did your grandparents and your aunts and your aunties play as far as when your mother's passing occurred?
Well,
What?
again,
Go ahead.
when my mother passed away, we had our grandparents. They were older. We were we're all 3 years apart. So I was 18. Aaron's 21. So I guess everyone looked at it as they're old enough, you know.
Wow. Okay.
And like I took over head of household. I was the only sibling working. So I had to be in charge of the bills and things like that. My aunties, oh my gosh, my aunt Elise, everyone knows. She's like a mom to me. So of course I was with her, my Kia all the time. So that's why became more than just cousins.
Okay.
Yeah, like sisters.
Mm-hmm.
But my cousin Nisi, Javon's godmom, I had a couple other aunts that would come, show us little things here and there, and it helped us. It helped us. So with the Turners, the Joneses, we're like a village.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, Jaquari and myself, we could probably relate to that because, I tell people all the time when it comes to my in-laws, I see a reflection of my family, a lot of strong women. You know
Okay.
what I mean? And when I say strong women, I'm talking about women who, the way they carry themselves, the way that they see life, the way that they treat each other, and the way that they treat each other's children. That witnessing that's a wonderful thing for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
well, look, we all have these, and it's a small percentage, but we all have these stories of families who, and there's a lot of family members, but they don't get along and they don't like each other.
Mm.
So that kind of goes hand in hand with something that I wanted to ask you also, and that is because what happened with your mom passing. I don't want to keep reiterating this, but this is interesting. If you were to go back and talk to your 18-year-old self, what would you tell your 18-year-old self to do to help you along to live your life a little better?
One of the things that I could say is, I guess it goes back to being strong, but just know that you're going to have a great childhood. Know that you're going to have a mother who raised you well on her own. Um, you know, you, what I would tell her also is maybe not. try to be so strong and take on so much on your own, just to be a little bit more vulnerable. Because for me, that word is almost like you're weak if you show any sign of vulnerability, you know.
Mm.
And then I feel like I've always, for me, losing my mom at a young age, I guess I could say it made me feel like I may just lose someone that close to me, it could happen again, right? So I was one also that I would tell her, don't be so closed off. You know, be trusting of people, let people in, because, you know, I will always be afraid to do that, you know, in the sense that I'm either disappointed or I lose someone else close to me. So I'll kind of like, you know, would tell her just to be a little bit more vulnerable.
Okay. Okay.
Hmm.
So when you say vulnerable, does it go along with trust, or is it the same?
Absolutely.
Okay. Okay. And you know, that's interesting because what I want to really what I'm trying to do is to get a really clearer picture, because you talked about feeling you had to take on this great responsibility.
Right.
Okay. And I know that you were in a relationship at the time. Did you lean heavily on that relationship, or was it more or less, you know, because you both were so young, nobody knew how to do that?
Absolutely. Yeah. I would say I did because we were trying to just figure it out. At 21 years old, we had Jevon. You know, we met in high school. So 5 years later, we're having a kid.
Gotcha.
Hmm.
Okay. Okay.
So was a quick question: was there ever a point in your life where, you know, even though you were in a relationship, even though you had a child and everything, was there ever a point in your life where you could where you were free to just go out and just be 21-year-old Shelly and have a good time and let your hair down?
Let me say, 21-year-old Shelly was 7 months pregnant on her 21st birthday. So, no.
Mhm.
Okay.
So,
But
no,
what
I
about?
felt like, you know, I had to become an adult when I lost my mom. Then, here I'm 4 years later, I have a kid. We just worked to pay our bills to get through.
Okay.
Yep. So,
Okay. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, you know, and that's the funny thing about it is we didn't Key and I didn't have Key and I. Let me make sure I put her in there because she actually had Keith. I was 28 when Keith was born. So my 20s were just about done, and I was ready to basically march into adulthood.
Hmm.
So being a parent, what does and did at the time, because I know that it evolved into something more or something less. You know, I don't know, but being a parent, what did it mean to you personally? I'm talking about, because we know you know, it's obvious that you lived up to your responsibility, but responsibility is not love, right?
Hmm.
So what did you personally what does it personally feel to you, just being a parent of a young man that basically growed into a great young man?
Thank you. Yeah, that's one of my proudest moments in life, you know?
Okay. Okay. Short and sweet. Hell, I said, look, hell, Shelly, I set that up so you could go into a whole paragraph or two, but but
Oh,
but,
my apologies. I thought we were
no, hold on. No, I'm
keeping it
joking.
short.
I'm joking. I'm joking with you. I'm joking with you. But your answer was perfect anyway. So
Thank you.
you know what I mean. So it has nothing to do with Look, we like to joke on here, so don't
Okay. I
don't take
got
it
it.
seriously. Don't take it seriously. But we do ask the meaningful questions though. Jaquar, you look like you have a question.
I mean, just piggybacking off my earlier question. I mean, what I wanted to eventually get around to was, I mean, was there ever a point early in your life where you feel like you missed out on anything?
Absolutely. Yeah. Um,
So,
hmm.
I mean, I know it's 1,000 things probably running through your head.
Yeah. We'll let that soak in a little bit, but we need you to answer that because
Okay. We'll swing back.
we'll come back to that. And look, and we're not gonna forget. You know what I mean? Because that is a great. The answer to that will help you out more than help us. You feel what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because see, we're getting to the point, and all my older family members can say this because now I'm 57, so I know that things are coming full circle for me, and as far as understanding. You know what I mean? Understanding what I went through and understanding what's coming forward towards, coming towards me. You know what I mean? So, all right, I tell you what. How did it? How did your work ethic influence what you did for a living and where you are now?
Um, so I want to tell you, I started working at the age of 13, right? And I'm telling you,
Hold on.
I've been working, I haven't stopped. So
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You said 13? I thought
13.
I thought you was from Germantown. I didn't know you was from the Mississippi Delta. 13, Jesus.
Yes,
y'all speaking cotton in Philadelphia? That ain't right.
I had a summer job
Okay.
in Germantown working at the Boys and Girls Club. First
Oh,
job, 13, and I've been working ever since. So, had jobs out of like working after school in my high school. Then I went on to work, go to school for business, and then led up to the job that I received back in '85, which was a year before Jevon was even born, at a law firm. And I've been doing it now for 37 years. So all I know is work, 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 work. And to
Nice.
piggyback on ethic, Keith, I remember Jevon being, a kid in high school, wanting a job. And I always told him, no, you are not going to be working as hard as I have. But to say that he saw the work that I was doing, he saw how his dad worked hard, when he did finally become old enough to, get a job and for me to let him work, he saw how hard we worked and it made him, have the very good work ethic also. Yeah.
Your cousin Kia had something to say, and it's lengthy. So what I'll
Of
do
course.
is I'll read it to you. This is her opinion. She said, "I feel that a lot of people close to Shelly didn't realize what she went through until 20 years or more, until they lost a parent or provider. I think that point, Kia, you must have did this in a hurry, honey. I love you though, but wow. I think at that point they may have reflected back and realized they could or should have done more for Shelly.
I don't
Now,
know.
you don't have to respond on it or anything like that. That's not, because this is nothing like anybody dropped the ball because everybody's living their life. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Everybody's
Yeah.
living their life. So
But again,
this is
my
this.
brother was 3 years older.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think a lot of my family members look at it as they're old enough.
hmm But
I
look,
mean, what else were we going to do?
but here's the what. This is the only thing I want you to think about, because sometimes if you don't say anything, and this is not directing it towards you, this is a thought. If you don't say anything about what you're going through, people are not going to take the time, no matter how much they love you, they're not going to take the time to actually look at you and see that you're going through it.
But see, here's the thing. I was never one to ask for help.
Mhm.
I just again figured it out. But for me to even, I don't think I even know how to accept help because I wasn't used to having it,
Yeah.
So if I asked for something, I needed it.
Okay.
Yeah. And even when folks would be so nice enough to offer to me, because I was always that one to like to do for people, I felt guilty. Like, oh, you sent me $25 for lunch? Me? I feel good about that. Like the little things.
Got you. The little
So
things. The
it's
little
like,
things.
why are they doing nice things for me? Because I'm always like trying to do so much.
Yeah.
So I feel like, dang, somebody did something nice for me. Okay. So again, my brothers and I, we just made it. Best we could. We did fine.
And you know, and that
You know what?
go
Just
ahead, Corey. Go ahead.
just I mean, because I like to consider myself an outgoing person also, Shelly. So I mean, but for me, you know, if I do for people, the reason why, well, one of the reasons why it's so hard for me to accept anything from anybody else is because, you know, the way the world is set up, the way I've been raised, I've been always, you know, conscious that other people have motives, you know, whether they be family or not. But you know, when I trim all of the outside BS away, and I look at the reasons why I do for people, I don't have a motive. You know, I don't even look forward to come back. I do things for other people because it makes me feel good.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean,
That's a good point.
it's no crime. It's no crime in somebody, you know, and letting somebody, you know, rub your feet for a change. You know what I mean?
Oh, talk about it.
Look, let me do this. I'm gonna take the time because I like doing this.
Mhm.
Acknowledging who's up here. Kevin Wortham, good pick buddy. Hey, good to see you, brother. Aaron,
Welcome.
Nisi, Kia. Love
Niece,
y'all.
Kia.
Glad y'all looking in. Yes, indeed. Hey, Big Bill Scarborough. What's going on,
Hey,
brother?
Bill.
So
Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Good evening. Thank you for your support.
and I want to look. This is one of the first times that I was the problem when it came to echoing. Not sure why, because I'm the one who's actually doing the broadcast. But let me apologize again, and we're gonna move forward. Because we're in good company. And look, you guys, y'all doing a great job. Great job. So let me ask you another question. Look, I'm going down the list. So it's no, I don't have no rhyme or reason for this, Shelly. I'm just asking you questions because you're doing so great. Great.
Thank you.
Okay. Let's see. All right. What's your proudest moment when it came to Jevon?
Him graduating college.
Okay.
That
Elaborate
was
to
huge.
that.
He was
Why
the
was it
first
huge
boy
for
in
you?
our family to go to college and graduate college.
Okay.
Oh,
Mhm.
wow.
Mhm.
Okay.
Deep. Hey, and it's a great feat.
How much how much familiar pressure do you think that put on him?
You know what? I don't think it did at all.
Look, hey,
Really?
Jaquari, a
Mhm.
better question is ask her how much mama pressure was put on him. when he went to school.
Yeah, I mean that's he got a job. His job was to go to school at the time. So yeah, I can see the mama pressure. I respect that.
Yeah.
You know, but
And you know what?
you
I
know,
don't think I had to put as much pressure on Javon to go to college because his thought was, it's when he went off to college and some of his friends didn't, he couldn't understand like the experience of going to college, So he was excited about it. We looked at so many different schools for him to play football, and that went by the wayside. But we found a college in West Virginia, and he enjoyed it.
But
I
going
mean,
to
I'm
Pitt,
sure he was proud to be, the first graduate of my immediate family,
gotcha.
but I don't think he was too much pressured by it, Jacory. I think he
yeah,
felt good about his accomplishments,
yeah. I mean, and the only reason I mention it is because when Keith went to college, he was like one of the first. He was I don't know where he fell in the succession, but it kind of it put me in a space to where I felt like college was an expectation, not because of anything that I wanted to achieve in the future, but just because of the look. You know what I mean? And I followed in both of my brother's foot. Well, I like to think that I followed in both of my brother's footsteps in many things. But when I sit back, at 49 years old, and I think about the reasons why I did that, why I followed him, I really can't come up with anything that I could personalize. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Not saying that I didn't. A person doesn't need college, or a person doesn't need to feed off of the examples that are set before them. But I think it took me a long time to figure out my why. You know what I mean? So I mean that was the main reason I wanted to ask that question. I asked that question to a lot of people that I find out when I find out that they're first generation or anything. How much pressure did that put on the people who were behind?
Right.
Which is a good
Well,
thing.
Jacory, I'm sorry. Did you say something?
No, no. Please.
Okay. I was going to say, Keith, this might be a good time to bring him in. My proudest moment.
Oh, look, you're more than welcome. Have him chat. And now, do you want to be on camera together, or do you want his individual camera? It's up to you. Because he can get on with his phone now.
If it takes just a second,
yeah. I mean, look, we'll be talking until he logs in. We good.
Okay. Let him come in.
I tell you what.
He can't log in on another.
So if y'all want to snuggle up against each other, y'all can, Shelly.
He can't hit. All right. So Jevon, being my proudest moment, we want you to come in here so we can ask you a couple questions. Jacory presented something.
Mm-hmm.
You can hear him. Yep. And we want your take on
what's going on, brother?
What's going on?
What's going on, man?
Not
Good
much.
to see you, man. Good to see you.
Yeah, you too.
I was just asking your mom, because she just informed us that you were like the first, guy to graduate from college in the family. What kind of, what kind of pressure were you under at the time, or was there any pressure, for you to be successful?
Yeah, that's a good question. I really didn't feel pressure. I felt more so support from like my family, my dad, my mom, everyone, my cousins. I would say with me, I put a lot of pressure on myself internally. So it's hard to put more pressure than I put on myself. So I mean, I really just felt more so support from the family.
Yeah. Those milestones, man. Those milestones, and that the first time you exceed your own expectations, man. That those moments, man. Those are priceless, man. Those moments are priceless, seriously.
Oh yeah, I felt it. It was emotional graduating. I didn't know what was next, but yeah.
It didn't matter for me.
Yeah, I was happy and relieved and different, so many different. Like I wanted to make my mom proud. It was a lot. So yeah.
That's what I was going to say. I think that's what he wanted.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, okay then. the thing about it is, what is the one thing that you most admire about your mother?
Let me see. Well, I mean, the thing. I mean, there's a lot, but I'll say. I mean, she works so hard. I mean, she's like a tirelessly hard worker. So, I would say if it's one, I'll just go with that. But I probably have one more that I would say that's right next to it. But I mean, she's just a hard worker, and that's what I learned.
Okay.
And I carry with me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we shared earlier that your mom was a strong influence, but also your dad. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So, um, can you tell us as far as when you're growing up, that whole dynamic, how you guys, because it's been many times that I ran into you and your father when I was coming to Philly with the fellas.
Yep.
Lou and Choose.
Many times, right?
Today,
Many
they
times.
still, everybody.
Many
I
times.
said to his father, if somebody wanted to put a hit out on you, they know exactly where to go on a Friday night. And now his son, same thing.
I'm gonna tell you the thing.
Every time he in Philly.
The relationship that you have with your mother and your father, I love that, man. I love it.
Thank
You know
you.
what I mean?
Thank you. I
Because
appreciate it.
it's
Yeah. I love
obvious.
it. Yeah.
It's obvious that you
We're
love
his
your
best
love.
friends.
Yeah. So that's key. That's key to a lot because it helps you to bounce back from a lot of things. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Okay, then if you were to throw a compliment to your mother, other than she works hard, because I'll let you slide on that. You heard the question that I asked you before. What do you most admire? Oh, she worked hard. Stop that, man.
Okay.
Tell your mother how you feel about it. This is love fest for your mom today.
All right. Yeah, I like put me on the spot. All right. You know what I think though? So I think my mom really is a little misunderstood. I mean, some of it's close to her, we understand, but I really think that she's more generous, and genuine than people think that she actually is.
No doubt about that. I
Yeah,
see that.
yeah. Like she really cares a lot, sensitive. You know, because she cares so much. You know, but yeah, I just really appreciate the person that she is and how giving she is.
No, I appreciate you letting me put you on the spot, man.
No, it's all good.
Thank you.
You need to run for Senate, bro, because you keep it right there because you got to be around your mama all the time.
Yeah.
You keep it right there.
Hey,
You know what
it's a
though?
love fest, right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, definitely. But when I was like younger or whatever, when in the family would be together and we'd be talking about, like when our parents was growing up and everything, it surprised me, man, to hear that, as statuesque and demure and soft spoken as my mother was in my lifetime, in her young lifetime, she was an ass kicker.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know what I mean? They used to call her sister.
Okay.
She was like the problem solver. She wasn't like like when I put that out there, she wasn't like the rough and tumble kind of looking person who you would expect that from.
Okay.
She did not suffer nonsense for her people.
Did not suffer.
She went when she needed to, and she touched people. She beat people up. She face punched people.
Whoa. You said face punch you?
No, my mother. No, she was never like that with me. I mean, she made sure I wasn't soft, but she wasn't like that at all.
No, and just to piggyback on what Jaquari is saying, more or less, when it came to my mother, our father, both our parents were alpha personalities. You know what I mean? But they was laid back people.
Okay.
So my mom taught us how to be unapologetic when we're being courageous.
Oh,
Because
that's
if you
good.
felt like she taught us that if you felt like you deserved something or you had a point to make it.
Mm-hmm.
No matter how you feel, whatever pressure you feel around you, make that point because you got to live with yourself. You know what I mean? My dad was a no nonsense, deliberate guy,
Mm-hmm.
but when it came to my female family members, one of the most loving guys you ever want to meet.
Okay.
But no nonsense guys when it came to the brothers, man. I done seen him do some stuff, man. I'm like, oh, you know
Didn't
what I'm
expect
saying?
it, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was like that. So I'm bringing it up because Jaquari said something about our mom. We were blessed with that. You know what I mean? But it also is also said that when you receive love from somewhere, whether it's a mother, as a father, you need to appreciate it.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times people are busy in their lifetime, ripping and running, trying to make a way, right? And if you don't just take 5 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
you know, acknowledge those people, even if you're doing it personally, acknowledge them because they were the ones who actually, helped you to become the person that you are. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So it's
Yeah.
like, just speaking to you, Jevon, of course I wanted your mother to come on in, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when she said she wanted to include you on it, what I understood about that, knowing you guys, knowing
Yeah.
you your whole life, and knowing her as long as I know,
Yeah.
that's your comfort zone.
You
Yeah.
know
It's
it.
my mind.
You feel
Yeah.
me? So look, what did I say, Shelly? Oh yeah. Yeah, hey, look, is he gonna get on right away? You know what I mean? Like,
I'm like,
it's, you know,
And I'm like, Mom, go ahead and do the podcast, have fun with it. She's like, nah, you know.
I'm shy.
Yeah, I'm like,
Y'all know I'm shy.
I'm like, we talking to family and have
yeah,
fun.
yeah.
But
You
Shelly,
know,
it's no strangers on here. Everybody who you see in the comments, I bet you can put hands on them right now. It's no strangers on here
Okay.
at all. You
yeah,
know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
yeah. I mean, because
It's exhilarating to me. It's fun.
Yeah. I appreciate you guys having me.
look, you're more than one. We appreciate you being here.
Mm.
I got a couple more questions for you, Shell, because
Okay.
what I'm trying to do, and I say this, said this to you last night, and I always say this every episode. What we try to do is help people to find their own voice, not for not what they're saying to other people, but hearing how they're saying it, the tone of it, where they at, where their mindset is when they're speaking about a particular subject, right? So the perfect example is when you guys go back and look at this, even in the short time you've been on, Jevon, when you go and look at this and listen to how you look at how you interact and listen to what you said, it's going to bring out a little bit more in you.
Okay.
You feel what I'm saying?
Makes
Yep.
sense.
Yep.
Because I can only speak on a personal sense, right? My family, I'm talking about Kia and my sons. My family see me as somebody who don't ever have problems. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because, quote unquote, the head of the household, whatever the hell that means. Because Kia is my partner. You know what I'm saying? Now I'll make the hard decisions because I'm equipped to make the hard decisions. But she makes hard decisions too. But what I discovered as I got older was this: to open up to them, open up to my boys, Keith and Carson, open up to them. Because my father did that for me. My mother did that for me and my brother. They opened up to us.
Right.
So when we talk about my dad always telling us the truth, hell, he told the truth to it freaking hurt. Like, yo, man, calm the hell down. Because you're going to make that. Go ahead, Jaquan.
A lot of times I had to build, even though I was young, I had to build myself up to be able to handle that stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But then, when I got, pretty much the hang of it, I started to extend myself. and I began doing the same thing that he started to do, that he was doing, for me. And I became a sounding board for people. You know what I mean? I began doing this because I didn't feel like the people in my life really, really knew that I could communicate in specific ways. But that being said, the majority of the people in my life I have individual relationships with. So we could be, if it's us three in the room, I'll have spoken to those other two people about, personal things. But the one will never know that about the other, and they won't have communicated that to each other. It's just like at work. We all said, me and my two brothers all said that we wanted to have people from our lives come on this podcast, and put themselves out there. But the people I work with, they're my work friends, so they're used to seeing me, button down. I'm not going to fall for a banana in my in my tailpipe. That's who they're used to seeing. You know what I mean? I just really don't know if I trust myself with anybody that I work with or somebody that I know that's around me now to come on the show. And, I don't know. I don't even know how to finish that statement, because there's absolutely no good reason why I haven't had anybody I work with on the show up to this point. I've got people lined up, but, I've got a block somewhere for some reason, and I believe I'm the same person here that I am at work. So people they're not going to come on, telling like fantastic stories about, the things that I've done or said, because this is me at all times. But if I'm going to check my vulnerability at the door, there's that word again, Shelly. That word vulnerability.
That word. Mm-hmm.
It's not a 4-letter word. It's not a 4-letter word. Vulnerability has saved my life. It saved relationships in my life for a long time.
Okay.
And I just opened up and became honest.
Yeah.
You don't have to trick anybody to love you. You do not have to convince people to love you. It's just what it is. You know what I mean? It's not. You don't have and you don't need a reason to love anybody else. So that's where I'm at.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about it is, like, what I learned how to do, and the only reason why I'm the way I am, because see, you guys, you see a certain part of me. Like my home training has me act the way I do with my in-laws. You understand what I'm saying to you? I am loving toward the Johns family, right? But unless you want to know who I am, I'm not going to expose you to it.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
The only reason to that is because I am a very deliberate and direct person, because I'm the oldest, and I had the responsibility for both my brothers while my parents worked. Mm-hmm. And I took it personally.
Right.
That's the thing. That's the key to it. When my father told me, "Hey, you take care of your brothers," I felt that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I did not want to disappoint.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I did not want to disappoint. So my demeanor is where it is. Mm-hmm. And I can't shut it down. So, like I told you guys earlier, I put up an effort to give to my sons a part of me in which they deserve.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sometimes we get too caught up in me.
Sorry, guys. I'll be right back.
What they doing to me? What's going on with me? And that's not a bad thing. But the thing about it is, if you got people under you who love you and you're responsible for them, you got to take that moment and say, "Hey, all right, am I taking care of them?" You feel what I'm saying?
Yep.
And let me just say this real quick. I'm going to acknowledge the folks on here. G Sharp. Hell to Pit, baby. What's going on?
Hey.
Hey.
She wants to, she
welcome.
I needed you to click on the comments, Shelly, because kids like said you was her protector. when people bullied her when y'all was kids.
Oh, little old me.
Here,
Look,
mom.
look, they
You
said
know, look, hey, look, she know that's
got
true.
rid of them.
Look, she's more fiery than people think too. Mom, you gotta get your phone so you can see the comments. See
I
if
don't
you
know
could.
how
Yo,
to do it.
that's the reason.
It should be in the right
that's
hand
the
corner.
reason
You
why.
can click on comments.
Okay.
That's the reason why I brought up my mother and her role as the ass kicker of the family. Because I wanted to ask,
Yeah.
was there any time, especially in your young life, that you had to push that, excuse my French, but you had to push that fucking button, that fucking button, and punch somebody in the face. Especially in Philadelphia. Philadelphia is it's the big city. It's the belly of the beast,
Right.
sometimes
Mm-hmm.
you can't show any kind of weakness or anything like that. I'd imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
That's what it is, though.
Look, let me tell you, and Kia reminded me of this, and it was crazy. Like when we were first getting together, we were just talking about it, right? And she brought you up, Shelly, and she said it was this little girl bullying her, right? And she came, I think she came to your grandmother's house and like told her, you said you grabbed her hand and went down there, and you went down there and you said, Shelly, whooped her ass. And she didn't bother me anymore.
No, wait, I didn't.
Look, she said bye bully.
Yeah.
I don't want anyone bullying.
Yeah.
That's not cool. But yeah, Sybil, what was her name?
Look, Anisi said your mom know how to throw those hands too.
No, I don't.
No.
So cousin Niecy's piggybacking on probably where I get the fire from, meaning my mother.
Yeah.
My mother was the firecracker, not me so much.
No. Let me clear this up now, Shelly. We're not saying that you were the bully on the block. We're not saying that. Kia was saying
I would speak up for her.
You were
I
so
didn't like anyone mess.
You were so protective of her. You always had her back, and she appreciated it.
Yeah, because I met her at the school bus stop. And a couple times. It only took 2 times. Listen, she had no more problems.
Yeah. Hey, look, that was it. You know what I mean? That was it.
Yep.
Well, you know what? We're getting closer. What I want to do, take a couple minutes. We're gonna go to each one of you guys. Take a couple minutes and give us something that you would change about yourself if you could. You don't have to get too deep. Now I asked you a similar question earlier, Shell.
It ties into this.
But here's the thing. We had a whole lot of dialogue since then, and you've opened up a little more. Now you should be a little more forthcoming in what you would change. And I'm not talking about some big drastic change that I would be, whatever. I'm talking about in word with you, in your heart.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So what I'll do, I'll let Jaquari go first and give you guys a chance to think about it. I want to put you on spot.
No, you know what you're gonna say.
What I would change is, like I said earlier, man, I would change not my why. I wouldn't change my why. I would change the pursuit of my why. Instead of just going through the motions of trying to check all these maturity boxes, because instead of going off of my own notion of what I believe being a black man is, listening to everybody else, and as far as achievements goes, I don't know if I ever would have went to college. I don't know if hell I would have had children. I've raised children in many relationships, and my marriage, I've raised my daughter, but as far as natural offspring, that's something I always avoided, because throughout my whole life, all the lessons, and I call them lessons, not losses or whatever, because I don't lose, I learn nowadays. But throughout all of those lessons or whatever, it was always in the back of my mind, well, dude, if and when you have kids, you're gonna have to get them through these same situations, bro. And for the most part, when you take a personal account of your interactions, you don't feel like you won, which is a complete and total lie. It's a complete and total lie. But I just I don't know. I mean, it's a good question, man. And I'm it's too bad you came to me first, but
Yeah.
it's a confidence thing for me. I'll say that. That's my honest moment for this show. It would be a confidence thing, because on very few occasions have I stepped out on my own,
Okay.
and been successful. Every time I've stepped out on my own, I've been immensely successful. But I've always had a block, just like I told you guys with my work situation. There's nobody who I work with who will come on here and say that I've done anything against anybody, because that's my reputation. I don't get involved in petty things. I don't. I know what I'm there for, and for the most part, I take care of business. But at the same time, everybody who comes into my office, I have a personal relationship with, at least on speaking terms. I know, dude. I know what meds you take, bro. You know what I mean? But I've been blessed to where I'm not the kind of person who would ever have to weaponize anything like that.
Mm-hmm. So you were saying, when you say confidence, you said that's what you would change.
That would be the thing that I would increase my confidence. I really would, because when I went to college and I began, I graduated from college as a theater major. I didn't go to college as a theater major. I wanted to, I thought I was going to be, I wanted to, be like a child psychiatrist or something like that. But that's weird. I know. I'm sorry, but I asked myself a question. What's your dream?
Mm-hmm.
What's your dream? You've been feeding yourself for years now, so you're going to eat, you're going to prosper. But today in this institution, what do you want to do? Who do you want to be? And I wanted to be a movie star. So from that point, I started doing things to position myself. Am I a movie star? God, no, I'm not. I haven't been on the stage in years. It's been decades since I've been on the stage. That experience has carried me over in many situations.
Okay.
So yeah, and I'm still eating. So
there you go.
All right. Well, I'm going to go next.
Okay.
Because I just wanted to make sure that you guys are just you comfortable with what you say.
Mm-hmm.
So let me just say this real quick. Ja'Quari is trying to be modest. I went to the 4 or 5 plays when he was in college that he was in, and he did fucking fantastic.
Okay.
I was amazed. And I'm not saying it because he's my brother. It's the God's honest truth. He has talent. He really does.
Yeah.
But he chose, and Kia will tell you, because she went to every play with me, and she was like, is that Ja'Quari up there? And look, and then he got the nerve to be able to sing a little bit, hold a half a note too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So multi-talented dude.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is, he said confidence. He's the only way. He is always mostly because he's the youngest child, and our parents was tired after they raised my brother Damon and myself. So Ja'Quari was always outspoken. He spoke his mind.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not contradicting what he's saying, because it might be another level of confidence I don't know shit about. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But I've seen this man do these things, right? Now, what I would change about myself is, and it's simple, understanding, not looking at taking up my responsibility as an anchor.
Okay.
Because, like I said to you earlier, my parents gave me responsibility early, right? And it was out of love. It wasn't like, they needed to go party and they put my brothers on me. No, my dad was the oldest. of his two brothers, two younger brothers, right? And he was that same guy. My father understood that my brothers looked to me, not looked up to me. They looked to me to lead. And the example that I gave them was, I'm going to keep fucking trying.
Yeah.
And what I learned, I'm giving to you. I used to get on their nerves because everything that I had, everything that I learned, I came back and I drilled it in them.
Yeah. You're the leader.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They'll tell you. And you know what it was? It had nothing to do with it. My mother and father made me and my brothers feel that we were a family. We understood what family was.
Yeah.
It's like you and Jevon, I know y'all understand what that means.
Mhm.
Which you know, with Led and congratulations, brother.
Nah, appreciate you so much.
Congratulations.
Nah, we're definitely excited.
Yeah, so but and what I mean, this real shortly, what I mean by anchor, meaning it was okay to feel good that you're doing something for someone.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? It's okay that like, yo, let me pull your coat. You don't need to be doing this. You feel what I'm saying? Because my brothers, I used to yank them into position. Like, I don't give a fuck what you bring your ass on. You know what I'm saying? They'll tell you.
Right.
But the best thing I ever did was, and then I'm done, was when I was 24, maybe 25, understanding that my brothers were grown men. They weren't my little brothers anymore.
Mhm.
And I treated them like men because they were my best friends. And I started treating them that way. And our relationship blew up because they didn't look for it. They always look for it. They still do. They'll ask me what I think, but they lead their own households. They're doing their own thing, right?
Mhm.
But they will say, hey, man, guess what? What you think about this? You see what I'm saying? And for me to understand that, yo, I did my parents proud
Mhm.
because I did that, first of all, because I love my brothers, and secondly, because they made that my job. So when I say it being an anchor, not looking at it as a job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just called it a job, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I would change that from just living my life.
Mhm.
All right, now,
Leaning into it.
yeah. Now,
Mhm.
Javon,
Want me to go next?
no. Since it's your day, we're gonna let you go
No,
last,
that's
Shelly.
This is your episode.
Yeah.
that's
So
that's
Javon,
that's that's
you up next, brother.
that's her saying. That's Shelly saying, "Well, I need to go next before I forget."
Listen, you already know. Woo.
Hey, look, it's all by design. It's all by design. Come
Or
on,
not.
Javon.
I got you. What I would say is to change. I would just want to be more present. So like even whether it's like traveling, like a lifestyle with work, that's just something that I'm working on. To always feel like I'm moving.
Hallelujah.
Nah, I always feel like I'm moving. I'm sometimes I don't even know if I'm going anywhere, but I'm just trying to go. I'm trying to be productive. I'm trying to do something. So sometimes I'm not as present, or I'm tired when I'm with my family, or my mind is somewhere else. So I mean that's the main thing for me, where I'm just trying to work on being more present and just not being complacent, but just content, like where I am, and just being happy about that, and just celebrating just the small things. I don't have to be where I want to be in 5 years. I'll get there in 5 years. So I would say that.
Okay.
Yeah, because I say like trying to get in touch with him is like trying to get in touch with the president of the United States.
I'm always doing something. I don't
Got you.
just
Got you.
When
yeah,
he's not, even when he was traveling, when he's not traveling too.
yeah. But everything's starting to slow down now. So I'm getting better. I'm getting better.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
family, he
Yeah.
gonna see y'all again in Philly. The ones we couldn't get to.
Oh yeah, of course.
All right, Shell is on you.
So I'm gonna go back to I'm gonna be vulnerable with you guys since we talked about this word
What?
so much.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, I'm gonna be vulnerable. So and one thing that I would want to change, or if I could change, is for me, um, I don't want to be so strong. I don't want to have I didn't want to have to be so strong, you know. And for me being the strength that I have, you know, everyone always probably thought, oh, she's okay, you know, but maybe not, you know. I talked to her last week. She's fine. I'm sure she's good, you know.
Gotcha.
So when you're so strong and you have that strength about you, people think you're okay, but sometimes you're not okay. So that's one of the things I would definitely open up about. Like if I could change that, you know.
Okay. Man.
Yeah, my grandfather, he always said, you gotta not do so much. Let a man be a man, right? So my hair is all the way down. I'm letting it down. I'm ready. Pop up.
Hey, look.
You
Hey,
know?
look. Let me tell you something. The funny thing about that is that's gonna be another episode, and I'm gonna invite y'all back on here because
Okay.
the definition of being a man and being this and being that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not disagreeing with the traditional sense, but I think it was blown out of proportion a lot of times. You feel what I'm saying? And what I mean by that is this. Man, I mentioned man of the head of the household, right? Some people take it far to the left, the extreme. Like, I'm the man and you do anything I tell you to do.
Right.
But really, the head of the household makes the decisions along with his partner, his wife,
Right.
And he researches the decision. Or if his wife knows more than him, he is humble enough to follow. That's my take on it. All right, like I said, it's another show.
Okay.
But we're coming to the end of this. Shelly, Jevon, beautiful job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah.
You asked me earlier about what I'm most proud of, and y'all saw the first one. Can I bring the second one in to show you who else I'm most proud of?
Of course.
I see the flash. I see the flash on the screen. I thought you were about to get it.
I thought she was too.
Yeah.
But thank you guys for having us.
No doubt about it.
I enjoyed this. So this is my second proudest. What the person I'm proud of? Come on, sit down here. Look at her. Hello, Jay. Say hi to everybody.
Hey.
Hi.
Hello. How you doing, young lady?
How are you?
Good. Uncle Keith and Uncle Corey.
That's good.
Hi.
How you doing? It's good to meet you. Good to meet you.
Good to meet you too.
Yeah.
So
Thanks for having all of us.
Are you always that calm?
Yeah.
Keith,
Tomorrow she gonna be out.
he said, "Are you always that calm?"
Am I always that what?
Calm
Calm.
and collected.
No, not really.
I know you probably bouncing off the wall.
Yeah. Hey Key. Tomorrow she gonna be on Instabook or Face Chat talking about. I was on a podcast with a bunch of old people yesterday, and so
earlier in the car she asked me how old I was. I said, "Why you want to know how old I am?" She said, "Because my friend who has COVID, whose mom has COVID, just told me today that she said she was next to the little girl, and she says, Mimi, I don't want to be around you because you're old, and if you get COVID."
Got you.
Yeah.
No, your grandmother's strong, baby. Your grandma's strong.
She's like, I don't want you to get very sick if you catch COVID. I said, well, just stay away from me.
Yeah. That'd be a good show, man. Like a show with the kids. That'd be a good show, man.
Yeah, we could do that. We could definitely put that together. Look, here's the thing. I say this to every guest that we have, Shell. You have a reoccurring role as long as you want to come on.
Thank
Okay?
you. I
Let us
appreciate you
know.
guys. I
And
really enjoyed this.
also, I'm going to take it upon myself, even though I know Kid checks in on you. I'm going to create my own status check for you. So I'm just going to I'm gonna text you and say, "Are you good?"
Thank you.
And
I
all you gotta do,
appreciate that.
look, just give me a thumbs up and we good. All right.
Okay, I definitely will. Thank you.
But look, everyone, our audience, I'm gonna acknowledge everyone else.
Okay.
Antoine Mosley, Julio, back in Albion, Michigan. Good to see you, brother. You know what I mean?
Hey.
Beautiful a comment, about Black culture. And Aaron, we want you to come on, baby boy. You know what I mean? Because you got a story to tell. And everyone who I'm Facebook friends with me, message me if you want to come on, because we're more than welcome. We're looking for guests. We're looking for family, the women in our family to come on, because you're all strong women and you have strong stories to tell. All right?
Yeah.
But this is the end of the Strong Perspective podcast, ladies and gentlemen. We're usually here every Friday at 7:30. I want to thank our special guest, Rochelle Turner,
Thank you for having me.
Thank
her
you for coming.
beautiful granddaughter.
Maya J.
There you go. And Jevon Turner. Thank you, guys. Jaquari,
Yes, sir.
always perfect. Oh, hey, Vicky Pittman. This is Kia's friend, Vicky.
All right.
Hey, Vicky.
Kaya, hey, beautiful
I remember
human being
her.
too. Vicky, we want you to come on too. You got a story to tell.
Mhm.
But what I'm going to do is end this broadcast. Just stay on for a couple minutes, Chef.
Okay.
I'm gonna end the live and just like I said, go to the YouTube channel, Strong Perspective Podcast. Like, share, subscribe, and pass it on to your people, man. Because it's about regular people having a regular conversation.
See you, Sam.
Say your goodbyes, folks.
Peace.
Peace.